hasn't heard of us before, and I think it does well to sort of explain our position on this question. So, uh, very quick background: my co-founder and I have been building in the real estate PropTech space for many, many years at this point. Back in 2017, we started a tech-enabled real estate brokerage. That's really where we cut our teeth as practitioners and really learned sort of the pain and the doldrums of the state of real estate data. We sort of experienced that on three levels. As agents working with consumers ourselves and all of the agents on our team, we saw over and over again that the inaccessibility of data, the fragmentation, the unreliability of data led to just a lot of gaps in knowledge when people are making the biggest decision, potentially of their financial lives when they're purchasing a home. A poignant example is my co-founder, in fact, was trying to buy a place with his wife when we lived in Northern California in the Bay Area, and they had a property under agreement, and then they got rejected by 10 insurance companies for wildfire risk. And that's just data that they did not have available to them. It was not shared with them. So there are real emotional and financial issues that can result by just not having the right data at the right time. Buyer's remorse, we hear about it all the time. Then sort of on the practitioner level, we were feeling the same pain point where we or the agents that we were working with are out there trying to go find information about properties, but they don't know where to go. There's this app, there's this website. You don't know who's the authority on any particular data. And the reality is there is no single source of truth for data. There are so many different companies, organizations, products out there that get you a slice here, a slice there, but like, how are you supposed to make sense of that? Something like the valuation of a property, I think, is a really telling example. You go to Zillow, this estimate says this is how much the home is worth. The next day, they may say something completely different, or you can go check one of the hundreds of AVMs out there, and they all say something different about the value of that property because they look at data in a different way. So again, high level, there's just no source of truth, which then as a practitioner, you're an agent, you're busy, you're trying to service clients all the time and move as quickly as possible because this is a, by the minute, by the second kind of industry. If you don't have that data readily available to you, what we see is then that practitioners don't end up leveraging the data at all, which is its own liability. So it's just, there are too many places to go and there's too much going on in the day-to-day workflow of an agent for them to find a resource reliable for data until RealReports. And then finally, and I swear I'll move on to actually answering the question, we experienced this problem of data fragmentation as builders in the space, as founders in the PropTech space, because what we noticed is that there are a lot of large incumbents out there that you can go buy data from, but often those contracts are wildly expensive, multi-year commitments, things like that. And anybody who's been a founder understands that you don't have necessarily a lot of wiggle room or, resources available to you to go get that data in a timely manner. So a lot of companies end up building the same redundant data infrastructure over and over again, or getting stuck in these large contracts with incumbent providers. And that just slows down the rate of innovation in the space entirely. So again, the pain point of data fragmentation is really felt across the stack, whether you're a consumer, a practitioner, or a builder. And that's really what led us to start RealReports.